I want you to imagine this for a moment. You're lying in bed. The lights are off. The room is quiet, but your calves are still aching. It feels like your legs never truly rested. Have you ever felt that way? I see it all the time in patients over 60, and what most of them don't realize is that vitamin D3 could actually change that, if taken at the right time. Most people think D3 is only about bones. But in my experience, working with hundreds of older adults, D3 is the quiet key that helps your muscles heal while you sleep. You see, a good night's sleep isn't just for rest. It's when your body repairs itself. But if you're low on D3, that process slows down. The aches linger. The nighttime cramps return. And in the morning, you wake up with legs that feel like stone. Just one small dose of D3 before bed, taken with a little healthy fat like walnuts or a spoonful of almond butter, can be the beginning of real change. Not overnight, but night after night, step by step, you'll start to feel the difference. And I believe, if you're watching this far, your body might already be whispering, "It's time to start healing." There's something interesting about D3 most people don't realize. It doesn't just move calcium to your bones. It actually triggers processes inside your muscles, helping them repair after every long day. One of my patients, Rose, she's 71, once told me, "I don't even do anything heavy anymore, but every morning, my legs feel stiff like wood." She couldn't figure it out. She walked daily, ate fairly healthy, but still woke up sore. When I asked her about vitamin D3, she said, "I take it whenever I remember, usually in the morning." And that's the part we often miss: timing. See, as we age, our ability to produce D3 from sunlight drops dramatically. And the muscle recovery we really need? That happens at night, while you're sleeping. So if you take D3 in the morning, it's already faded by the time your body needs it most. That's why I tell my patients, and now you, make D3 part of your bedtime ritual. Take it when you brush your teeth, when you sit with your book. Just one capsule, 2,000 to 4,000 IU, along with a small bite of fat, a few nuts, a bit of cheese, or a sip of plant milk. Not to check off a box, but to give your legs, those same legs that have carried you through life, a real chance to rebuild. And if you're wondering, is it too late to start? Let me tell you this. Your legs don't need you to be 30 again. They just need you to care for them, the right way, at the right time. And tonight, that care can begin. But, as important as D3 is, it can't do the job alone. It needs a partner. Quiet, essential, and rarely talked about. That partner is vitamin K2. Have you ever heard of K2? Don't worry if the answer is no. Most of my patients hadn't either. Because K2 doesn't show up in ads. It's not in your daily paper. And most doctors never mention it in a regular checkup. But it's the missing puzzle piece if you're already taking D3 every night. I remember one patient, Roger, 70, a retired engineer. He told me, "I take D3 religiously, doc, but my knees are still stiff. Every time I stand up, it cracks." I smiled and asked, "Have you invited K2 to the party yet?" He looked puzzled, like I'd mentioned a long-lost friend he'd never met. I explained, D3 brings calcium into your bloodstream, but K2 is the one who shows calcium where to go, to your bones, not your joints or arteries. Without K2, calcium gets lost, and that stiffness Roger felt, that was calcium piling up in the wrong places. So we added K2, specifically the MK7 form, to his evening routine, right alongside D3. And 6 weeks later, Roger came back, took my hand and said, "For the first time in years, I stood up without that crack." You see, real healing doesn't come from some magical pill. It comes from the quiet, precise coordination of little things like D3 and K2. Like two dancers who need to move in sync, you might be taking D3, but without K2, you could be missing the best part of the recovery. So tonight, when you reach for your D3 bottle, remember to invite K2 too. Just 100 to 200 micrograms of MK7 taken with your D3 and a bit of healthy fat. That's all it takes. Not for the sake of routine, but to give your body the signal it's been waiting for. To heal in the right direction. And if no one's told you this yet, it's never too late to support your body. You haven't missed your chance. You're just getting started. One thoughtful step at a time. End scene with a quiet smile and a gentle fade to black. So tonight, when you hold that bottle of D3 in your hand, don't forget to invite its trusted companion, K2, into the conversation. Just 100 to 200 micrograms each evening, taken with your D3 and a little healthy fat, is enough to redirect calcium, soothe your tired legs, and help you feel more stable when you step out of bed in the morning. And you know what? The difference doesn't come from big things. It comes from small actions, repeated every day, with patience and love for your own body. That's where true strength begins to return. In the next part, I'll tell you about a vitamin that doesn't just make your legs stronger, but makes them sharper again, like the days when you walked with full confidence. Can you guess what vitamin it is? I'll tell you right after the next cup of tea. Now, I want you to imagine this. You're walking a loop around your house, not carrying anything heavy, not climbing stairs, and suddenly, your legs feel disconnected. Your knees start to wobble. Your calves respond slowly. You even feel unsure if you can take another step. Have you ever felt that? Most people call it just getting old, but I don't. I call it a silent cry for help from your nervous system. And one of the most overlooked causes is a deficiency in vitamin B12. B12 isn't a rare vitamin, but for those over 60, the issue isn't whether you're eating enough. It's whether your body can absorb it. You might eat plenty of meat, eggs, and fish, but if your stomach no longer produces enough acid, as is the case for most older adults, then B12 from food almost completely passes through unused. I once treated an elderly man, Mr. George, 78 years old, a retired literature professor. One day he called me and said, "Doctor, I don't know if I'm losing my mind, or if my legs are forgetting how to walk." As soon as I heard that, I knew this wasn't just a muscle issue. This was a breakdown in the signal between his brain and legs. We ran some tests, and just as I suspected, his B12 levels were very low. We started him on sublingual methylcobalamin B12, 1 tablet under the tongue every night before bed. 3 weeks later, he came back, not with the shaky steps from before, but walking upright and steady. He smiled and said, "I'm not just walking again. I feel like myself again." You see, B12 is like the electric wire between your brain and your muscles. Without it, the messages from your brain never reach your legs, and you can't react fast enough when you trip on the edge of a rug or need to twist your body to stay balanced. And the most important thing? Nighttime is when your nerves repair themselves. If you don't have enough B12 in your bloodstream while you sleep, your nerves don't have the materials they need to heal. That's why I always tell my patients, place a B12 tablet under your tongue 30 minutes before bed. No water, no food. Just one small habit that could save your legs from a dangerous fall. And I say this with complete sincerity. Age doesn't take away agility. Silence from your body does. And tonight, you can finally listen. With one small B12 tablet, you give yourself the power to stay steady, walk confidently, and live with the freedom you deserve. So tonight, before you go to bed, remember this. You are not weak. You're just missing the right kind of support. And now, you know what to do. In next interruption, I'll tell you about 3 small habits, not vitamins, not pills, but true accelerators for everything you've been working to rebuild. I'll see you right after a good night's sleep. There's one thing most people forget, that health doesn't just come from pills, not just from vitamins. It comes from small habits, ones that seem insignificant, but when done right, can completely transform the speed of your body's recovery. Let me know if you'd like this formatted as a video script, Facebook post, or email. I'd be happy to help. The first habit I want you to remember, drink water with intention. I'm not talking about forcing yourself to drink 2 liters a day. I'm talking about taking small, steady sips as a quiet reminder that you are still nourishing this body. A recent study shows that just a 1–2% drop in body water can noticeably weaken your muscles. B12 can't reach your nerves. D3 can't distribute effectively. And K2 can't redirect calcium if your blood is too thick, too slow. One of my patients, Nancy, 66, once said, "Doctor, I take all my vitamins, but my legs still hurt every night." I asked her, "Are you drinking enough water?" She went quiet and said, "I only drink when I feel thirsty." And by then, it was already too late. After 2 weeks of following one simple discipline, a glass of water every 90 minutes while awake, she came back and told me, "Not only is the pain gone, but I'm sleeping more deeply too." The second habit, eat light for dinner and eat early. Few things make me sadder than seeing older adults eat dinner at 8 or 9 p.m. with white rice, bread, or a sweet dessert. Because at that hour, instead of repairing muscles, your body is busy trying to digest. If you often wake up with aching legs, or feeling like you never truly slept, try changing this. A little protein, some steamed vegetables, and eat before 7 p.m. That way, by 9 p.m., your body can finally be off duty and begin rebuilding your legs. And finally, a habit that seems small but is surprisingly powerful. Move your legs before bed. Just 5 minutes. Rotate your ankles. Lift your heels. Gently stretch. No need for a workout. Just remind your legs, I'm still here. I still need you. I once taught this to Mr. Fred, 82 years old. At first, he laughed and said, "Doc, this feels like kid stuff." But 2 weeks later, he called me and said, "I don't wake up with cramps anymore, and I feel like my legs are coming alive again." You see, recovery doesn't begin with medication. It begins with attention, with every sip of water, with a simple dinner, with 5 quiet minutes of reconnecting to your legs. So tonight, after you've taken your D3, K2, and B12, before you turn off the lights, drink a small glass of water, stretch your legs, and let your body know you're giving it the conditions it needs to heal. Because you deserve strong legs, not just to stand tall, but to keep moving freely through the most precious years of your life. Bear. And now, I know you've done the hardest part. You've started. You've added D3, K2, and B12 to your nightly routine. You've changed how you hydrate. You've lightened your dinner. And even spent 5 quiet minutes talking to your legs. I see that, and I want to tell you, that is a victory. So how do you maintain the strength in your legs without adding more pills or medications? Let me share something simple, and yet the one thing I see people forget most. Let your legs truly live. I remember a patient named Mr. Pete, 74 years old. He came in walking slowly, his legs seeming to search for confidence with every step. Let me know if you'd like the rest of Mr. Pete's story translated too, or if you'd like me to help format this for a video narration, blog post, or ebook chapter. Mr. Pete looked at me and said, "Doctor, I don't want to just be able to walk. I want to feel like my legs are truly mine." I didn't give him more medication. I simply asked, "When was the last time you walked outside?" He looked at me and fell silent for a long moment. You see, the human body, especially the legs, wasn't designed to stay still. You don't need to run. You don't need to go far. But each day, your legs need a reminder, I still need you. When you step outside, breathe in the air, look at the trees, listen to the birds, your brain wakes up. When you walk slowly, even just 10 to 15 minutes in the morning or afternoon, blood flows to your muscles, nerves are activated, and small muscle fibers begin to remember how to move. Not because you're training, but because you're allowing yourself to truly exist, in both body and spirit. There's something I often tell my patients. True strength doesn't come from muscles. It comes from your connection to your body. Your legs don't need you to be young again. They just need you to be present. And presence begins with simple steps. Into the garden, into the sunlight, through the kitchen with just a bit of softness. You don't need another vitamin. You need a reason to use your legs every day. Maybe it's a walk with your partner. Maybe it's to watch the sunset, or just to water the plant you planted last year. And as you walk, remember, every step is a message to your body that says, I haven't stopped. I'm still alive. I'm proud of you for choosing to take action. Now, keep going. Gently, steadily. No need to rush. No need to be perfect. Just be consistent and be present. Because these legs, they've walked with you your whole life. And now, it's your turn to gently guide them forward with care and appreciation. You still have many roads to walk. Let your body be ready to embrace them all. Subscribe to the channel to watch the next part, where we'll talk about nourishing your memory and mental clarity after 60. Now, you might be wondering if I'm already taking the right vitamins, if I've changed my evening habits, if I've started walking, staying hydrated, and caring for my legs. What else can help me stay truly healthy, not just in body, but in mind? I want to tell you about one important element, often the most forgotten part of recovery: memory, awareness, and the clarity within. I once asked a patient, "What do you fear most about aging?" He didn't say illness. He didn't say losing strength. He quietly replied, "I'm afraid I'll forget who I am." Have you ever forgotten the name of an old friend? Forgotten why you walked into a room? Or stood in the middle of your house, confused about what you were doing? Those little things, when they repeat, start to worry us. We begin to doubt ourselves. But you know what? Memory doesn't leave you. It just needs to be nourished. Just like muscles, the brain needs nutrients, and it needs space to awaken again. In the next part, I'll share some surprisingly simple practices, like quiet meditation, nightly journaling by hand, and a special vitamin that enhances the connection between brain cells. Not to make you smarter, but to help you remember more deeply who you are, what you love, and the journey your feet are still taking. Because as you know, being healthy isn't just about avoiding disease. It's waking up each morning, knowing where you are, why you're here, and still feeling full enough to love, to remember, and to keep going. See you in the next part, where we won't just talk about legs or hands, but about the heart and memory, two things that carry us home to ourselves. Let me know if you'd like this formatted as a video script with